Netherlands has a reputation for tolerance. For centuries, it's taken in people from across the world, many from countries that were once colonies. But as in many European countries, there's a backlash against immigration, especially against Muslim immigrants. And this is the man who's trying to take those right-wing views mainstream. Geert Wilders is a striking figure, both in his image and his words on the campaign trail. He calls the Quran a fascist book that should be outlawed because it incites hatred. He wants to ban the construction of new mosques and the cornerstone of his policies, an end to Muslim immigration and the paid repatriation of settled Muslim immigrants.
Well, we propose a full stop from people from Islamic countries because we believe we have enough Islam in Holland. And that's about it.
Why do you think Islam is?
Well, I have nothing against people, so I have nothing against Muslims, but I believe that Islam is a totalitarian ideology and it goes against our freedom. So we are fighting for our freedom of the Netherlands and of Europe.
Political parties across Western Europe, and not just the far right, have taken up the issue. In France and Belgium, impending legislation would ban the full Muslim veil in public. In Switzerland, the government has banned the building of new minarets on mosques. Sadiq Hardouchi came to the Netherlands from Morocco at the age of 8. He chairs the Forum Institute for Multicultural Affairs, a research group. He says the rise of anti-Muslim sentiment is rooted in recent history.
We'll see what the effects of the crisis are. I mean, it begins with a mortgage in the United States and you lose your job here. So people are searching for something to hold on to certainty. Everybody is a little bit searching for a sort of new pillar or a sort of new identity in search of belonging.
In 2008, Geert Wilders released a film to warn about the so-called Islamization of the West. It's brought him notoriety around the world. The title, Fitna, means division. It intersperses quotations from the Quran with footage of terrorist acts. The film was banned in several countries. Mr. Wilders is still facing charges of inciting hatred and discrimination in the Netherlands. In the town of Zwolle, where Wilders recently campaigned, the authorities were staging a soccer tournament nearby for homeless people, many of them Muslim immigrants. VOA spoke to one of them about the rise of anti-Muslim sentiment.
I think that it's not a problem because the Netherlands it's a free country and you can live your life and maybe the situation about Wilders, Wilders is playing a game. It's not kind of thing what the Netherlands look like.
Even if Wilders remains popular, people in Zwolle had mixed feelings.
He takes advantage of the fear of people. I think it's very, very, very silly what he does.
Holland is full, and that's my opinion too. It's enough is enough.
Although many dismiss Wilders' views as extremist, his party is attracting a share of the votes as anti-Muslim feeling finds its way to the ballot box. Henry Ridgewell for VOA News, Amsterdam.
Let's show this country what we are all about as Canadians. We do not want to stop freedom of speech. We do not want freedom of expression to be suppressed. You cannot stop me because I don't like the Prime Minister and I say things against him because he's doing everything against and he's broken 30 promises already. So that's why we're here. Hey, Mr. Muslim, just good comes out of Islam? Not much. Just look at what's going on in Europe, in Germany, in Sweden, in Holland, France, Paris. Do we want more Islam in Canada? I say no. Motion 103 empowers the Islamists and the Muslims.
103 protest June 3rd. I'm Guy Anderson from the Capitol Police. About 200 degrees support.
Anti-Muslim prejudice was on the rise in Europe, and today there was an anti-Islamic rally in Dresden, Germany, where we find Mark Phillips.
We are the people, they chant. But this isn't a chant about a society being united, it's a chant of exclusion. They're part of a movement protesting what they see as the threat to German culture from rising numbers of Muslim immigrants to their country. Chancellor Angela Merkel may have said Islam is part of Germany now, but not to these people. They point to the events in France as justification. Felix Menzel runs a right-wing magazine that supports the anti-immigrant cause. Is there an I told you so quality to this?
Yes, that's the scenario that they spoke about in the last weeks.
The weekly demonstrations have grown over the past months from a few hundred to somewhere around 20,000, but so has opposition to them. Other demonstrators saying Germany should welcome Muslim refugees tried to block the path of the anti-immigrant marchers. But the marchers simply moved around them.
There were calls for this demonstration to be canceled. Passions were running too high, it was said, and out of deference to the victims in Paris. But it went ahead anyway, and it was big.
But the marchers' sentiments are misguided, says Werner Patzold of Dresden University.
And they stir up quite undelicious opinions and feelings.
Ugly is what you're trying to say.
Well, ugly is maybe the proper expression for what can be seen and felt.
The police crowd estimate here tonight was 25,000, which would make this the biggest of the anti-immigrant demonstrations so far, but still smaller than the numbers of pro-immigration demonstrators who've been out on the streets across Germany. This is a battle of ideas, Scott, but it's also a battle of numbers.